How dare you? How dare you? How dare you?
Oh, hi, welcome to Ward 13. I'm Hop Jon Wood, and this is This Week in Ward 13.
13 Ward.
Here's John.
Johnny. You don't remember Johnny Carson?
I'm Hop Jon Wood. What do you think about that? Hoppy Jon Wood.
It shows a real, sense of wit.
So, where's our guest?
Half wit, quarter wit. Well, Ross Terrio wanted to come on the show.
There he is?
Oh, there he is.
He made it. Hey.
We were just about to start insulting you. Yes.
I told you, don't you check your messages?
No.
He's not kidding either. He was like, I don't know. We invited him.
I messaged
No,
you.
you come over here. Gonzo, come over and sit next to
This
me.
is great theater.
Well, we can always edit this up.
Well, we planned it. It's live, buddy.
Oh, you have to bring your microphone up. No, not that one. That's Ross's microphone.
Oh.
Yours is there.
Nice to meet you, Ross.
He
too.
doesn't know who you are.
I'm sure he does.
He doesn't.
I know the name.
Of course he does.
No, he doesn't know who you are.
Oh, that's fine. I'm not a
I
household
was going to
word.
read about Victoria
Really?
Sullivan
Who put that out?
to debate Rich Girard.
I said you're some alderman
Rich
guy.
Girard did.
So you made it. Yeah, I made it barely too. I was here at 3:01.
Oh my gosh, Diet Moxie? Probably the only person in the world that drinks that.
Well, I'm an old man now, and my
My
taste buds
son
are
loves
gone.
Moxie. It's weird. You know, that's bottled in Bedford, New Hampshire.
Yeah, it was
Originally
old.
from Maine, went to Georgia, and then is now back.
And what famous writer drank this?
Hey, Brent, how long till we start?
I don't know. It was invented by a pharmacist, though.
It was E.B. White. Is he the one that wrote? Who wrote Charlotte's Web? Somebody can call in and tell us.
Not Charlotte Bronte.
Wasn't it? Well, who was it? Frank Webb. Frank Webb. Yeah, it was Frank Webb and Charlotte's Web.
Isn't that a furniture moving company?
Hey, now that we've already blown off 5 minutes,
Are we on the air or no?
you missed our great intro about Mel Thompson, the
Right.
Election Day '78 sneak attack on the Manchester polls.
What did he do?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right.
Governor Thompson,
That's-
Meldrum Thompson, who acts
That's
the
right.
tax.
You don't know. You are not a native. Now, he's a proud native of Manchester who's lived here all his life. Never heard of Mel Thompson.
Born at the Elliott Hospital.
I know who Mel Thompson is.
But he doesn't.
Oh.
He doesn't
I mean,
know who you are.
But he's
either.
not from
I know who
Manchester.
I said
He is.
I said he's
no, Mel Thompson.
Was from Georgia.
Really?
He had a Georgia accent, too.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. He was a real, well, we're not going to get into that.
I told you he's some alderman guy. I said I knew you were an alderman.
Pretty good.
I already told you.
What
So
ward do you
he's-
live in?
The North End.
He doesn't even know what ward. He lives in Ward 1.
Yeah,
Probably.
that
yeah.
one.
So you must be
Along with,
wealthy.
Yes, very wealthy. I'm an artist, so I do well.
He lives with
Wait,
he lives
an artist
near
or an
Elizabeth
artiste
Mara.
with an E?
Well, an artist.
Without an E.
He actually is an artist. He sold something for a good sum of money the other day.
Who's that guy that does like bank bills? He's really famous.
He's dead now.
Oh,
It was what's his
Banksy, you
name?
mean?
Yeah. Say it again.
Banksy, the street artist?
Yeah.
He
just
doesn't do
steps out.
banknotes, though.
No, he didn't die, John.
The guy who does $100 bills and would give them away.
The
and
guy
he'd get
on the
arrested.
$100 bill is dead,
He's dead.
though, right? Yeah. Usually you have to be dead on money. Not always, but usually you're dead.
Well,
if you're on
he's
money.
an evil
Unless-
white English.
Unless you go to
Protestant.
R&R and hooks it, and then you can get Trump dollar bills.
Now, are you mad? I know that you changed your name into like an Italian spelling, but you're part French Canadian, aren't you?
Yeah, French Canadian. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
a little
part
bit of everything,
French-Canadian,
but
too.
But
There are no French
so this is what
Canadians
happened.
in currency.
This is what happened. My great-great-grandfather, Alex Terrio, was born in the Ile-Vert, Green Island, Quebec. 1840, few years before the Civil War, he comes down to Massachusetts, Lawrence. A lot of French Canadians
Right.
came down for jobs, flee that Canadian healthcare, socialized medicine, which is horrible up there. So he had to get out. He, for whatever
It
reason,
was lower
changed his.
Canada.
It used to be Theriault is the original spelling. When he came to America, I don't know if the immigration officer spelled it for him or he did. For some reason, it got changed when he came to America.
There were no immigration officers until the 20th century.
Oh, really? Okay, so I don't know
People just
why
walked over the border.
the name. My spelling of the name Terrio is very popular in the Massachusetts area.
Yeah, it's easier to spell.
Yeah, very much easier. Yeah, a lot easier. And the strange thing is, we've done a French Canadians are very big on family history.
Oh, yeah.
Almost as much as the Mormons. 'Cause Mormons are big on family history. Pretty much everybody with my last name is related. One family came over, 1638,
Yeah.
had 12 kids. And then they had 8, 9, 10 kids each.
Some of them had, in the generation just before me, because I'm a late baby boomer, people had 20 kids.
Yeah.
And they
Well,
weren't even
that's a lot.
Irish.
Yeah.
They
They were French Catholic. There's nothing to do back then. They were farmers or whatever.
They were
They
farmers.
had nothing to do. And
So
that's
they did that.
they had kids. Yeah, they had big. They were Catholic. They had big families, and they just kept on having big families and big. So
Well, my great grandfather had 9 kids, with 2 wives. When my
at the
great
same time.
when my great grandmother died,
he
giving
a
birth
Mormon
to my
or a-
grandfather. No, he's I guess he was. My father never knew whether he was Anglican because he came from England or they were Presbyterians.
Oh, okay.
But because of all those Scotch Irish that invaded New Hampshire, in the 1600s.
Well, the Presbyterian Church is big in Scotland. Didn't it start in
Yeah,
Scotland?
it
I
is.
believe?
That's the Scottish National Church.
It comes from
the
presbyter.
Kirk.
Presbyter means something. It's like a council.
Well,
or
the
a-
presbyter is like a congregation.
Okay, that's what. Yeah, okay.
And
Makes
James
sense.
T. Kirk. Kirk means he's supposedly,
The guy
that's a
from
Scottish
Star,
name.
Star Trek.
Well, the actual guy from Star Trek who plays it, who's 90 years old now, is actually a Jew from Montreal, William Shatner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he understudied. Well, this will bore him because we're talking about people.
No,
we've never
I'm not
heard of.
bored. I
It's
just
kind of very.
His
eclectic
name,
stream of
Gonzalez, is actually his
well, I was gonna
grandfather.
say
Is
that
actually Polish.
When I came,
told me.
well, not me, but when my great great grandfather came in,
Oh, it's
his
not
name
his
was
great-great-grandfather.
Gunkowski, and at the time there was a lot of prejudice towards Polish people being stupid and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was what it was. So when they moved to Manchester, they changed their name to Gonzalez.
Wow.
Because they had a good reputation of mill working.
Huh.
So it stuck.
I've never met
Yeah.
anyone.
Wait, where did he came from Poland and he changed his name to Gonzalez when he got here?
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
Poland
Yeah,
didn't
back
exist
then.
when
That's
you're
kinda-
talking about.
I don't know which one he was. All right.
Yet he has the face of a Castilian. This is obviously somebody's telling a joke.
I know. I'm not telling a joke. I have my license.
But there were
with
no
me.
Hispanic people in New England when I was a kid.
Well, there were then. After
Possibly
that.
Well, there were
Spanish.
Puerto Ricans.
Well, I am, so don't offend me.
So now he's admitting he's
I'm
not Polish.
clearly Hispanic, so stop it. My name's Gonzalez.
So you were lying about being Polish
No, I'm not.
to get the Polish vote?
Anyway, but it's a similar thing.
There
names
were
get
Polish
changed.
people in New
To
Hampshire.
make it easy.
When they came in, was that isolated to New? You said a big family came over in the 1600s. Is that
to
Manchester
Canada,
area?
no, to Canada.
Oh, to Canada.
Before
Okay.
they lived in Canada for a
They
long,
came
long,
down
long
for the
time.
jobs in the
And then
mills.
in the 1800s or 1900s, they all came down for jobs.
So you have a rich history in Manchester.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's
It
the
only goes
first.
back 1997.
He's the first generation Manchesterite.
So we lived in Massachusetts from. Some of my relatives have lived in Massachusetts since 1630.
Yeah, me
and
too.
Once I graduated college, there were no jobs there was very few jobs for pharmacists in Boston, and so I moved to Manchester for the job.
Cool.
In '97, when it was still a robust economy then, because I was still in California then.
The economy for pharmacists was pretty good up here.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
wife's from Brazil, so
'Cause
she.
I used to come back to Manchester to see my mother and family, and it was booming Manchester. I know they had a problem with the banks in the New Hampshire in the early '90s, but it went from being the new Appalachia to suddenly Manchester and Nashua are in the top 8 of cities to live in.
So what made you say, "Hey, I want to be an alderman and I want to make a difference"?
Well,
So I grew up in Massachusetts, kind of conservative. I'm moderate compared to New Hampshire.
All
but
your
moderate.
relatives, though, aren't they Democrats? But
Yeah,
conservative.
I'm probably the one
Democrats.
Republican. Yeah,
conservative.
My dad is actually a Democrat, he's a hardcore Union Democrat, but he's a lot
Right.
more conservative than I am.
Well, it's nonpartisan. In
Reagan
right?
Democrats.
During the city, but
The people that became Reagan Democrats.
I knew I could
funny how
never
they
get
say
elected
that.
in Massachusetts, but when I came up here, I was like, I always thought I could do better than what the people who are running the place are. You know, a lot of people think that, and so I knew I could never get elected in Mass, but I said, but I have a chance up here, so I ran for office and got elected.
But tell them what office you ran for.
State rep the first time.
Oh, you were a state rep before
Yeah,
you
back
were on
in
the
old
school
days,
board.
yeah. And then school board, and now alderman. It's kind of frustrating, too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to be in office. I try to help people. The big thing about being an alderman is just constituent services. Hey, my trash didn't, it's not glamorous. My trash didn't get picked up. My street didn't get plowed.
I got a speeding
My
ticket.
neighbors are letting their dog poop on my yard, and the police won't do anything about it. You know,
What do you do in that situation when someone says, "Hey, my neighbor's dog is pooping on my yard," and the police won't do anything about it? Like, what do you tell them?
so
Do you call the police?
He's an ex-Marine. He'll tell him how to use a K-bar knife.
But do you tell the police?
no. So typically, like in that
Sorry.
situation, like one of the things
He is an ex-Marine.
We had a sign put up, no dog fouling, because it was a big
That's
problem on the
right,
street.
yeah.
But the other thing I might do is, for instance, I've had other animal problems, and I have to say a lot of the city workers are very helpful. That we have an animal control officer. He's been helpful. Might have him go out and talk to the people. Say, hey, it's an X amount of dollar fine.
So you
Don't
do
really
what
wanna
you
give
can.
a fine. Yeah.
Within reason. You're
Yeah.
not going out there and scooping it, though.
No, although I have helped a ladies during the pandemic, the snowplows came by and like knocked her retaining wall away from her driveway.
Jeez,
And the city's like, oh, we're so busy with COVID, we're not going to go out there. So me and my son went out and
Nice.
put her wall back together. She was pretty happy.
That's a good PR moment.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't think it got
because-
covered in the union
Because the
leader.
first time I met her, she had a no soliciting sign. So if I see a no soliciting sign, I will not knock on their door.
Yeah.
But I'll leave my literature. And she got mad at me. She said, she saw me and she said, it says no soliciting. And I was like,
I know the exact feeling.
So then, but she's also the same woman that had the problem with the wall. So then she was very appreciative of what I did. So hopefully I'll get her.
You should have been like, "Don't solicit me for your point."
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, not when you're trying to win re-election.
But you'll be surprised, a single alderman, how little power we have. The only way we can get things done is you have to get a majority of the aldermen to agree on something, and that's how you get things done.
You're
But
like
one
Voltron.
alderman-
You have all the power together, but
Is that
individual pieces.
perform-
It's a bunch of robots that build one big robot.
He doesn't know who Meldrum Thompson is, but he knows about children's toys.
Voltron.
Was that the what's that movie with the Bumblebee?
Transformers?
Yeah,
Transformers?
similar to that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you'll have to come on the show with Big Steve, who is having the problems with the Nordic aliens. And because, he'll tell you about the bees. But that's for another show.
Who are you running against this year?
Oh, geez.
Mary Heath, Kathy
Let-
Sullivan's sister.
Ask him, since, you're so inquisitive and tried
Mm-hmm.
to hijack the show earlier, which, by the way, Ross does whenever he's on.
Well, I was just
That's
going to
right.
pretend I was
Easy.
you, and he would interview me.
You should ask him, what's the difference between being on the board of the school committee and being an alderman?
I don't think so. I'm going to ask.
Oh,
a different one.
$2,000.
Yeah,
It
right?
is?
Yeah, you get my-
Yeah, I want to say the school committee gets $3,000 a year,
You get-
and an alderman gets $5,000 a year.
For
Why?
the whole year, that's nothing. You should get
$100
paid
a
more than
week.
that.
Yeah, it's essentially almost a volunteer position.
It'll pay for your parking tickets.
But if you take the insurance, sometimes some of the people get over
Yeah,
$20,000.
they get good insurance, but I don't take the insurance.
Even Ted Gatzis took the insurance, and he was a multimillionaire. And he was a multimillionaire.
He used to park crooked in his mayor spot a lot.
That was his spot.
It's like-
He used to park.
I was like,
he would.
a
He
picture
would.
says 1,000 words.
I did a show on him, and Joe Lavassa put it on. Used part of it.
Question for, I have a question.
But
What
his
type of
parking.
art do you like? Do you do like pottery, sculpture, just drawings, painting?
Oh, I love making it about me. No, I do. So I'm like an abstract realism. Like I'll do.
Pollock? Like the Jackson
No,
Pollock?
no. More like the guy Banksy you were kind of talking about. Like,
Okay.
Like a urban background with a realism in front. Like
Kind of like
foreground.
Warhol did with Marilyn Monroe.
If you go to like 603 Grill in Blue Aqua, I did the walls out front
okay.
of us.
I don't have any pictures of your on
That's
my
all right.
phone anymore.
But yeah, sort of like that. I come on here and I just draw and
Brendan, we don't still have his background,
the
do we?
viewers like to see what I create.
Negative on that.
That's okay. Bren's jealous.
Brendan's also an artist.
Brendan's a great artist.
Brandon. Is it Brandon or Brendan?
Brendan.
Brendan.
Whatever you want.
I've been calling you Brandon for ages. Sorry.
That's because you want to be a wasp.
Brandon is burned in my head.
I don't
Sorry.
correct anybody anymore.
So does Easy G.
It's Brendan. Whatever. I don't think bad of you. Don't worry.
Sorry.
So someone doesn't want to talk about this race coming up because you just.
No,
changed
I
it
just
to
want.
my
What's
art.
the,
No, I'm just
before we
kidding.
get
I
to the
do.
race?
I'm joking.
But I
What's
have
the
a
difference
question for
between
you.
the school board? No, is it different
his
being
show,
an
bro.
alderman? It's my show, and don't you?
Oh, he gets mad if you try to hijack his show. He
Which
gets
he
angry.
has. If you weren't here,
he does. He
we'd
gets
be
very
having the
angry.
battle of wills right now. He'll just talk over me.
I'm
Yeah,
the
so-
clickbait.
I mean, the main thing is, the
This is part of the shtick now.
the simplest explanation would be obviously the school board helps run the schools. It's like a board of like a CEO has a governmental board to run a corporation. It's the same thing. School boards have their board, and the city has its board, the board of mayor and aldermen.
Which
But
is,
which one?
Trump's
Because like, once again, Joe always called it the children's table, which I think is unfair. Because Joe was thinking about the school board in days past, like 20 years ago. Now it's involved. It spends. Isn't the majority of the budget, city budget, goes to the schools?
That is
does it
correct.
not?
Yeah, it's the last I remember, the school budget was
$170
$175 million.
Yeah, went over 170 million.
Yeah, so it's actually more. The school budget is actually bigger than the city budget.
So
But you got to remember too, the school budget gets a lot of money in from the state, and a lot more, I think, from the state and federal. So that inflates it.
But nothing happens
really?
until you approve it, though. The alderman. That's why he called it the children's table, because really the power is with you guys.
So we approve their budget, but they can spend it. So they can say to it, and this has caused some hard feelings in the past. They can tell us, okay, here's our budget. We're going to spend X amount of dollars on books, computers, teachers, salaries, fixing up the building, whatever. But once we give them the money, they can say, we changed our mind, we're going to spend it on
they
something
can?
different. And that has upset the Board of Mayor and Aldermen in the past. They don't always do that. It's a rare occasion, but it has happened.
But doesn't the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, can't they also take away some of the federal or state education money from them?
I'm not an expert on that, but I don't think we can. I think if that money is going directly from the federal government to the schools, to the state to the schools, I don't think we can touch that. I think the only control we really have is over city money.
Okay.
Would you say that you have if you walked by someone randomly at the mall who's also an alderman, no matter who it is, would you say you have a friendly relationship with all of them? Or
Civil.
would you walk right by and not speak?
No, I would say hi to them.
Yeah,
That
and
would
they
be
would say
kinda-
hi back?
Yeah, maybe not Joe Kelly, but
Isn't that kind of the way it has to work, though? Like, you got to kind of put feelings aside to get things done for the city?
yes.
It's got to be a tough pill to swallow.
Well, you're all in the same boat.
Because
No
you're
matter
all
comes
one.
down to
You can't do it yourself, but they can't. Nothing gets done without all of you. So it's a very powerful position, but without the help, and it's so weird because it's nonpartisan. That's what I get a kick out of. It's so partisan, but nonpartisan.
Well, that's just a
But you need, again, like going back to you were saying about the robots or whatever, you need 8 votes really to get anything done. So if you can't convince 7 other people besides yourself to do something, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's right. That's everything. That's the thing you learn when you're covering the Board of Aldermen. You think, why can't they do something? Or why can't the mayor just do something? If he or she now, because it's Joyce Craig, or even Ted Gatz, if he can't get 8 votes, it's not going to happen.
And if you notice, the mayor only votes in certain situations, doesn't
Right,
always vote.
only in a tie. And then Gatz has set the precedent that on the budget, what was that, a tax cap override, he broke a tie. But that was the first time, although there was something that went back like 20 years. But it was never really followed through. And so Joyce uses that. I don't think she's never. Have you all? They didn't override the budget while you've been alderman. You've done 2
No,
budgets.
the 2 years we've done 2. We haven't had any
Right.
tax cap.
Hasn't been a
overrides.
while that they've.
No,
been
but
override.
I believe the 5 years before I got on, they overrode it every year.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's
when I
fair.
started following in 2013.
How's
like
it
in
fair to blame the
2015.
mayor for everything when you have you
Well,
have to
she's
get
mayor, so she
but
does
what
get the
can-
blame for
right,
everything.
exactly. But what
Just like
is-
the president does.
But like you just said, if you have 9 opposing people, you can say anything and
Well,
get
7.
nothing done.
Yeah.
Right, but if people don't like you, I guess being a mayor is getting the alderman to like you. That's basically
There's
the job of the
14.
mayor.
With you, yeah.
There's 14 people, so 7 people can.
But she has
stop
a
that.
majority on the board right now. There's 1 vacancy, and there's 5 people probably that vote with me. There's 5 of us.
8
Although
is
sometimes I work with the mayor. I'm probably the most swing vote on the board, but the mayor has 8 votes. So if she wants something done, most of
you're
the
on
things
the
go
other
her
end.
way.
You're on the other.
The minority
This
typically
could be
Although,
frustrating, huh?
no, I mean sometimes, but I've agreed with the mayor. For instance, on we hired a homeless coordinator. I agreed with her on her the housing initiative. To create a commission. I've actually voted with her on quite a few things.
Safe station? What about that?
I don't like safe stations.
Okay.
What I want to do is what Nashua did, is get rid of safe stations
Which they did,
and
right.
switch over to a thing called the doorways, which is right. So instead of having the city of Manchester spend its money and have its firemen do the program, the state has done a 24/7 program down in Nashua. It's called Doorways, and so the state uses a third-party vendor and has 24-hour coverage. Now, so that's the state resources, state money, state manpower.
Right.
So that's, I think, the way to go. And I believe, in talking with Mayor Craig, that she's working with the state now to do that.
Oh,
It's
really?
not going to happen right away, but it'll happen in the future at some point.
I mean, the state's really dropped the ball with this. I feel like it's like Manchester's their like hidden child in the basement they don't want to talk about.
Well, Nashville closed its homeless shelter, and doesn't Concord limit the? They know
Yeah.
Manchester will take the people.
I think Ross is dead on about this. I was opposing that view. I was like, safe station, but unfortunately, it's just become a destination station instead of a safe station, and all these people are coming in, and unfortunately, with addiction, you don't do it the first time always, so then you end up here from there.
5 times, 6 times.
Yeah, it sucks. So the whole thing sucks. It's just such a what an awful situation it can turn into.
I'm just saying Manchester, because like Lavasser said back in, I think, 2013 or 14, all the cities and other cities in New England send their problems to Manchester,
They do.
which is the biggest city. And he was absolutely right.
Our mutual friend, Carol Robidoux,
Yeah.
wrote an excellent
Manchester,
story.
England. Yeah.
She's my friend too.
She's a nice lady. She's Capricorn. She was writing a story about a man. He was dying from. He had a lot of problems. Alcoholic, probably an IV drug user, but he had cancer. He was dying. He lived up in the Lakes region, and the town that he lived in said, we can't help you. They gave him a bus ticket and sent him to Manchester.
Yeah.
And they put him in hospice, but that's what's happening. We're being dumped on.
That's what's going on with all
What's
these.
unusual is that one of the things that the old Tea Party, when they had the legislature under Bill O'Brien, they got rid of the old poor law. And I'm wondering, that's interesting. It's archaic. But then you realize...
Did they get rid of it?
I think they did. They got rid of they voted it out.
We need to look into it because I don't think they did. I think it's still on the books.
And maybe it got vetoed or something, but because Lynch was still the governor. I believe.
I actually liked John Lynch. He was a good guy.
Oh, yeah, he was a moderate.
Yeah.
Could have been U.S. senator, but he just didn't want to go. Who'd want to go to Washington? Oh, by the way, the scuttlebutt now is Kelly Ayotte's going to run for governor.
That's what I've heard too. Yeah.
I thought inside the Beltway, people were still talking about her up till a couple months ago running for U.S. Senate. But that's
here's the
another
thing.
story.
Just if I can just interrupt you real quickly.
Oh, go ahead. She can appoint herself.
Maggie Hassan, I don't think she would have won Senate if it wasn't for Aaron Day siphoning off 30,000 votes.
Could be. That very well could be. That was a really close election. And Kelly Ayotte's still, I'm sure, popular.
She's just a nice person. As this.
Oh, yeah. I've interviewed her. French-Canadian, too.
Well,
And
isn't that her
Catholic.
married name?
No, I
Is
don't
it-
think it is. I think her husband has another name. Joe has another name, doesn't he?
Oh, okay. She didn't take her husband's name.
I don't
Easy
believe
on
she
the
did.
eyes too.
Yeah, she's attractive. Nice.
I always was told she was French-Canadian. Very nice person. Everybody used to kid me that I had a crush on her.
You have a crush on a lot of women, though.
Why don't you shut up? Even he doesn't.
Oh, you've talked to him off the air then.
Oh, yeah.
And what did I'm not going to say what you said about Victoria Sullivan last week.
I said she's attractive.
Well, we said something much more specific than that.
I said if
but
I was single, I would ask her on a date. But she's married and I'm married, so that ain't gonna
Victoria's
happen.
attractive.
She's
are you?
attractive.
Why haven't you endorsed her then?
I told Rich and I
no.
told Victoria, I like to stay out of primaries.
Good for you. Smart.
You used to. Joel Elber always wondered why you were always so close to Rich Gerard's. I tell him you're deaf.
Oh, well, I am,
because you were
actually.
always like that. Talk to him.
I'm partially
Joel
deaf
be,
in one ear.
What's going on between those two?
That can come in handy though.
Yeah, because you can say I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I don't know what you said. No, but with Victoria Sullivan not endorsing her, I have a feeling like that's probably a safe move with the primary thing, because it's not. So she'll win the primary probably.
Probably.
And
I
then
think she's,
would you probably maybe, because I don't see her narrowing the gap this year. It'll be a tough one to
Well, here's the
come
thing.
back.
Is Joyce is probably going to get reelected if I had to
I
put
would
money
say,
on it.
yeah.
But that being said, and you know how you said it's not the mayor's fault. When she first ran, definitely not her fault because she just got in office. She had 2 years, and then 2 years is not enough to solve any problems. She's been in office 4 years. I haven't seen a big change in Manchester. But here's Joyce's problem. My wife's a Democrat, loves to vote for women Democrats. My wife loves Hillary Clinton. To her, Hillary Clinton is like the Mother Virgin Mary on earth. Seriously, my wife
Although
loves.
I've been bear hugged by Hillary
My
Clinton. So let's not-
wife loves Hillary. She likes to vote for women Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
My neighbors, hardcore Democrats, hate Republicans. Although they tolerate me because we have the same last name. He's actually my distant cousin. That's the only reason why I talk
Is he
to him.
Terrio that owns the roofing company?
No, that's Therian probably.
Therian, that's
Yeah.
right.
No, he's a Terrio, but he's
all
retired.
those French Canadian
Stay
names are
on
like.
stay in your lane. Here. Come on.
Anyways, my wife and my neighbor. This is why I think Joyce might have some problems. Her margin of victory is probably going to be smaller. She might even lose, but
No, she's not.
it's
but-
probably not. But here's the thing.
No way.
My wife and my neighbor, although they're hardcore Democrats and aren't going to vote for a Republican, they're not going to vote for Joyce because they're very unhappy with how the city is. They don't feel like she's done anything. They feel like the city's gotten worse in the last 4 years. So although they're not going to vote for Rich or Victoria, they're also not going to vote for Joyce.
Well, Rich Drudd's not going to get through the primary,
So here's the thing about that.
so it's going to be redone.
When you said she first started, like when she came in, no mayor I don't think has ever transitioned to the job with more opposition. Like Gassis did nothing to make it easy on her.
What do you mean?
There's no welcoming period. There's no training period. Like
He didn't cooperate.
he
with
didn't
any
cooperate.
transition.
He didn't even clean his desk until the last day.
But she was an alderman in a school, so she would already been in city government, so she was well
He
aware. of
didn't
what-
like her, obviously. So and he beat her. So good for her. But that's tough to roll into. And then you're saying 4-year gap. I mean, really, this term is on her. Manchester is worse now, unfortunately. But whoever was mayor, Manchester would have got worse in the last 2 years, I think. How
Yeah,
could it
there's,
possibly not?
This is all
So,
over
so,
the
let-
country.
so although her transition might have been a little bit difficult, I think, so keeping in mind she was an alderman, she had already been in government, she's had a majority of allies on the board of mayor and alderman
That's
probably for the whole
not-
time she's been in there. So those are people who vote with her, so that would make it easier for her to get her policies and things that she
Where did
wants to
she
get.
fall?
Joyce Craig, when she first
Where did she fault?
No, let's just say something. Joyce Craig and late Bill Cash, who knew more about politics than any human being I've met, and that's what I studied. Never saw anybody have a more difficult time becoming mayor, and it's not the Gatz's transition. She made a appointment, and the whole board stymied her.
Which appointment was that?
I can't. It was either
it
the
big?
plant. It was the zoning board, I believe. But it was one of her first appointments, and they just stymied her. And there's reasons for that we could go into. But the board, exerts itself because there's a chairman of the board.
Sometimes it asserts itself.
Right, until the mayor can finally exert themselves. The thing about Ted Gatz is he'd been around forever, and he was a powerful personality and a very powerful personality.
And that's why
that's putting it light.
I-
He really impressed himself on people.
So let's talk some inside baseball real quick. I have a lot of friends in Democrats, Republicans talking politics. Two things. One, a lot of people believe that Joyce doesn't want to be the mayor anymore, that she has her eyes set on a higher, like governor or senator or congressman.
That's
That's
what Joe
speculation.
That's
Yeah,
Joe
Yeah,
Lavasse's
but that's what I hear from a lot of
propaganda.
politicians.
Right, yeah.
The second thing is that the mayor actually wants to get rid of Danny O'Neill as alderman at large and replace him
I've
either
heard
with
that rumor.
Dan Goonan or June Trisciani.
But she can't do that. The people have to do that.
Well, she can help. I mean, she can put
Although
money in and
every single
resources.
Joyce Craig sign is next to a Dan.
Yeah.
I have noticed that.
No, I haven't seen any.
Really?
What's
Yeah,
her name?
it's like-
Trisciani. Yeah.
They're also- well,
not on
I-
the west side. Their Dan Goonans are standalone.
But on the east side, it's my understanding that Joyce is good friends with June, in that she's having her organization help June
And the rumor
and
I've
the
heard,
Young Democrats.
Democrats, and inside said, maybe the rumor's right, because whenever I see a Trace Gregg sign, there's the Trishani sign.
But she doesn't have a chance.
But I haven't seen any Goonan.
Trishani, you mean?
Nah, I mean, it's
Dan
gonna
does.
be,
Dan
it's gonna be
Goonan's probably gonna
Goonan.
win.
Goonan's gonna knock off O'Neill, unfortunately for O'Neill. But I don't see why that
Katie
would help
DeRoche.
Joyce Craig, because isn't Dan part of the majority vote?
He is, but sometimes
He's a
kinda-
Republican, by the way.
So
No,
what?
Goonan's a Republican. O'Neill's, yeah,
Oh,
a
O'Neill,
Democrat.
Goonan's a secret Republican,
No,
it's
he's
not
openly.
secret.
He's registered Republican.
but he
I
does
re-
Democrat stuff.
Yes, yes.
But Goonan was once close to Danny O'Neill, from what I hear.
I mean, he stood up.
But, you know,
to,
we
he
hear
stood up to the
you.
board.
I hear rumors.
Oh, yeah.
of everything.
He stood up to the board and
Told
made
him
it,
off.
and then he said, "I'm running," and that was pretty cool. I mean, that was a ballsy move, I think. And
I don't see Joyce related to Goonan running.
I don't know why. Yeah, but why would she want to get rid of Dan O'Neill?
But Katie
Wait,
DeRoche's, if she had
let me
run,
answer. Let me answer.
if she'd run again, I think she could have
I
beat
think
Danny O'Neill.
Dan asserts too much authority on the board. Dan's the chairman,
Mm-hmm.
and he sometimes clashes
Yeah.
with Joyce on how things should be run, policies and things like that. And I think Joyce wants somebody who would be a little bit more compliant.
A new chairman.
A new chairman who's going to go with her and not challenge her.
JKL.
No, Dan Goonan, June Triciani.
You're doing something.
Yeah, Katie DeRoche almost won. If you remember, she only lost by, what, 135 votes?
No, it was over 1,000.
No. Against Danny O'Neill?
Well, when you come, she came in third, but it was
No.
wasn't it?
It was
well, we
less than
can check it out.
140 votes.
No,
Yes. Check
I'll
it out.
look it up.
At large is an interesting race
Why
this
didn't she
year.
run again?
I think she wanted to run in her own ward. I was told she thought that Gamache was going to retire, and he surprised us all at the last minute because he signed up again.
Good for him.
I
The
don't know.
old-
She
the old
came so
left
close.
to right twist.
I just think she could have won this time.
She could have.
Politics.
I mean, she
Yeah.
almost won last time.
Do you think Dan's going to be able to hang on?
O'Neill?
Yeah. Joe's always going to get his 9,000 votes.
Yeah,
and they have two different pools.
Joe always wins.
He's a rock star.
He loves Joe LaFassa.
I don't know. Here's the thing about Joe Lavasser.
He's
You
even
need
offered
you need
himself.
somebody on the board that says the emperor has no clothes. Joe's not
That's
filtered. He uses
Keith is
bad
leaving.
language,
Yeah.
but he'll talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Like Art Beaudry did on the school. But you need somebody who's just not going to go along, get along, and just like, okay, do. Joe talks about uncomfortable things that need to be spoken about that other people don't bring up.
Yeah, he's just lacks tact. That's the problem.
Well, that's, I'm sure, how he was raised. He
That's
grew up
one
in
way
the
of putting
projects,
it.
is my understanding. Had a hard
Oh,
life.
yeah.
Grew up in the
But
projects.
Alderman at large, there's some five.
So
there's
did Bill
five
Barry in
really
the same
big
project. And they had
players.
Oh, yeah. He used to take care of Joe, and the bullies were beating him up.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They grew up together.
Huh.
Then Joe turned on him. It's like Kathy Sullivan told me when Joe turned on me abruptly. Says she just laughed. Says, "Just wait 2 years. He's your friend. Then he turns on you. Then he'll become your friend again, and then he'll turn on you." But
You gotta keep your enemies closer.
I appreciate Joe. Joe can be, in private, Joe can be pretty brutal towards me sometimes, as Teddy Gatsas could have been. But you know what? I like people who are, and this is why I get a little bit unhappy with Joyce. Is kind of passive, and you don't really know where she stands sometimes.
low key, yeah, she's low key.
Whereas like Joe and Ted, they're an open book. They tell you exactly how they feel, and I appreciate that. My dad was a construction worker. I was in the Marine Corps Reserves. I appreciate people who are blunt and tell you what they feel.
Well, most people that I know think that Joe Lavasser, and this is my opinion too, and just an opinion, is a lunatic and probably is mentally ill. And I believe
What
that.
if this is
I think he's got
is a
PTSD.
carefully constructed strategy?
No, I think he's
public
got.
relations.
I think that his bad childhood, and it was traumatic, gave him PTSD because he behaves like I used to behave when the PTSD is rampant.
You used to.
And
Well,
I haven't blown up in
You're
a long time.
Absolutely a lunatic.
But he blows up. Yeah, but I'm not
he
on the
gets
board of
10,000 votes every time, though. It's
Yeah.
working.
Well, 9,000.
What's
This
the
is
old
gonna go
saying?
more.
Crazy like a fox.
Yeah, right.
Not me. I was just that was just PTSD.
Can I ask my question now?
No, you can't.
Alderman
This
at
is
large.
Sergeant Hopwood.
Wonder why so many hot shot players that could probably win their award have decided to go when there's only 2 spots. 2 of them are already taken by people who have been there for
They've only been-
16 years.
Yeah.
So one spot, maybe no one's going to beat Joe. So why
Only
would
4 people
Why
have
would
been
why would
Alderman at
someone who
large.
was formerly an alderman and moved run for alderman at large? Why would
You mean Elizabeth Morrow?
Yes, yes.
I don't know
Why
why
would
she's not
Triciani run for alderman at large? Why are these people doing that? Is it to get relevance for next time? or knowing they're not going to win, or they think they got a shot.
hard
This
to
is
win.
this is what I think. Some people like Winter Trabex, also known as Mark Dennis.
He's in here last.
That
Oh,
he
yeah.
doesn't
Be
have
on
a
next
chance.
week.
I mean, has no money. He that was probably. I'm just throwing my name out there.
Informational, yeah.
Just to get out there, just to make a statement. But let's just really quickly. So you get Joe Kelly Lavasser, Danny O'Neill, Dan Goonan, Elizabeth Morrow,
All big names.
Winter Trabex, also known as Mark Dennis,
Because
Anthony
he's going to be Mark Dennis on the
Anthony
ballot.
Harris,
Yeah.
and Mary Georges.
Right. Married is a nice person, but she doesn't have a
7
chance.
people. I like Mary. She's a friend of mine.
Yeah, she was on the board.
So a lot of the people are just running. A lot of people put their names on ballot without any expectation of winning.
Joe
but the
will
people who
win.
have a choice.
But it's between can Dan Goonan knock Danny
Yeah, let him
off?
finish. Why? I ask why these major players
So
are
some
in
of the
this
people,
race.
the lesser known players are just putting their name on there to get it out there just because they want to. They don't mind losing. But the serious contenders who I think who have a chance are obviously Joe Kelly,
Yeah.
Danny O'Neill, Dan Goonan, June Trisciani, and Elizabeth Morrow. Elizabeth Morrow has a pretty good speculation. I like Elizabeth. I
Doesn't
will
have a
vote for her.
chance.
She's
This is
been
what
there.
I think happened. She was an alderman in 6. She moved to Ward 1. Kevin Kavanaugh is extremely popular.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think she would beat Kevin Kavanaugh. So she probably thought she had a better choice. I think
She's waiting for
Well,
a
that was before
scandal.
Dan-
the
O'Neill.
four people who are
I
going
mean,
to get through the primary,
for
I'm
Goonan.
not sure. It's definitely going to be Joe Kelly, Danny O'Neill, Dan
Dan
Goonan,
Goonan.
and the last spot is either going to be
Triciani
Elizabeth or
or-
Triciani.
yeah.
That's who I'm not sure
I agree
about.
totally.
Probably
with that.
Elizabeth Morrow.
But
You
I
don't
think
know.
she's probably, also for the future.
Close.
Now Elizabeth on the 5 people I mentioned have a good shot at
Right.
winning. Danny Goonan has the best shot, I think, of taking Danny O'Neill down.
And Triciani's a Manchester name that's out there, so maybe
well
getting
funded and well. She's
that's the thing,
She's
the
got in the
funding.
Craig campaign.
losing
so
with
she's
good
got-
grace and could get her and all them spot next to into
It's the funding because you'll have Emily's List money, all the people that Joyce knows.
Exactly. The Craig campaign, all of the people she has on the ground are supporting Triciani.
Oh,
so she has
yeah.
a good. So that's why Katie DeRocha almost won because she had
Right.
money. She had that. She was tied into the money situation. As you know, the Democrats, if you're not a prodigal son, you're not going to get any money from the Democrat or part of
Right.
the establishment. She's in the in crowd. And she has all those people supporting her. I'm going to doors in Ward 7, and I'm seeing. June is working. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they also have young Democrats and people from the Craig
Right, the
campaign
young
going
Democrats.
door to door with Triciani's literature. She's got a good shot.
Young
Oh,
Democrats
she
have
really?
She's in the in crowd with Joyce. So
But
Joyce,
if they're dropping her literature up, I
Yes.
would have issues with that as an opponent.
Well, no, that's the way
it's
it
legal.
is.
There's
Yeah.
nothing unethical about
The
it.
problem with having
I'm
and
surprised Joyce would do that because she knows she's
Okay,
not going to
yeah.
win. That's the thing.
okay, but
Tonight, Katie almost won.
the
That'd be
thing
sh-
is
that'd
to
be
get the problem with having just the 2 aldermen at large, because I talked to Mike Lopez, who's one of the only 4 people that have been an alderman at large, and he's changed his mind that he thinks there probably should be 4 and they should be like in districts. Because in order to win, you have to have a campaign that's almost on a level of a mayor, and
It
it
is.
costs
It's
a
an
lot
impossible.
of
I
money.
ran school board at large. It's impossible.
Right. So Danny O'Neill's been around forever. Everybody knows that name.
Yeah.
And Joe has the show, and everybody knows his name. How does somebody establish themselves?
Jim O'Connell, he has a show. And
But
he's well known in
Jim
education
and
circles.
Jim. Oh yeah, Jim knew knows almost like every teacher.
Does that help you though, or hurt?
Yeah, it
you?
does.
help-
It did
oh, it
help him
helps,
because he came out top. And it's like, how did Mike Lopez become alderman at large? Because Mike Lopez knew everybody in Manchester because he was the head of the VA VA post, not the VA post,
Yeah,
Sweeney
Sweeney.
post for the American Legion. He was helped veterans at the VA, and he was a mailman, and then he'd been head of the mailman's union. So but he literally, because he'd been around for so long, everybody knew Mike Lopez. So when it was time, when Rich Gerard stepped down, because it was Danny and him won the first time, and Danny stayed, but Rich went up against Bob Baines
Oh, for mayor.
for mayor and got his
Crushed.
lost, and then Mike. And then Mike was on for for 12 years until Joe beat him.
Joe knocked him off in 2012.
2011. Yeah.
You ran for school board at large.
Got crushed, yeah.
When
Hard,
did you do
right?
that?
Running for the whole thing.
You can't. I put signs out at all the different wards, and it's just you need a fortune. You need to be well known, and I'm none
Yeah.
of those things.
John spray painted his signs.
I did. I had no money.
Like
They're all
performance
gone
out
now.
like on walls and stuff.
No, that.
No.
He
You
still
were
got one at
supposed to help
Hannaford.
me, and he didn't.
Yeah, I can't back you, bro. No offense. I love you. You're a lunatic.
All right, John. Theoretical question. You move to Ward 7. You get in the
No,
sanctity
moving
of
to
the...
Ward
the-
8.
No. Let's say, for the instance, you move to Ward 7.
Yeah.
You get in the sanctity of the voting booth. Who do you vote for? Mary Heath or Ross Terrio?
I'm not going to say that because I'm a Democrat.
All right.
What is Ward 7? What's the range there?
It's mostly Democrats.
No, what part of town?
Oh, so it runs
I wouldn't
from
vote.
Union Street, Valley Street. It goes up
Central then.
Candia. It's actually right in the center, yeah.
Okay.
It goes up, so Valley Street, Union Street. It goes up Candia Road to about Cushing Ave, which is a few streets before St. Pius. And then it's Silly Road at the bottom, but then we have a little cutout where I live, Taylor, Jewett, and Vinton.
Memorial High School in that area?
Just about a half mile west of
Okay, so
Memorial
it's not-
High School.
okay.
So where my house is,
Yeah.
I'm about 300 feet from the front door of the Jewett Street School.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool, yeah. That's a
Right in
good
the
area.
center. It's like a big
And
rectangle.
whose sign did I hold? What was it? 4 years ago? Or was
Donna
it 2 years
Soucy?
ago? No,
Donna
that's
Soucy.
when you were running for Senate.
State Senate.
Just
yeah.
We'd be
You're a
we'd be at the
Democrat.
dump in Litchfield.
Just because you're a Democrat doesn't mean you can't. Like, I voted for the
I held the
governor
sign
to win
up,
again. I wish I kind of didn't, but at the
Why?
time he handled the COVID so well, and I just liked. And I didn't really know the other guy that well. I was a fan. I mean, why did I? Do I wish I didn't?
Yeah.
'Cause he didn't
Because
buy
he
any
hates
bazaar.
Manchester, and he just doesn't want to help us with our homeless situation, so
Here's
he
the
can
thing.
screw
Why
off
isn't he
on
down
that,
here
like-
campaigning for you?
Here's a little bit of inside information. This is why one of my disagreements with Joyce. Joyce has and some of the other aldermen have criticized the governor. Remember the old saying, you get more bees with honey than vinegar? If you criticize the governor and say everything is his fault and say he's a knucklehead or you say bad things about him, he's probably not going to work with you. So what we did is a couple of aldermen, myself, Keith Hirschman, Pat Long, Mike Porter, went up and met with his Secretary of
That's
Social
sure.
Services, Shibboleth.
That's sure to win Joyce's
No,
favor.
that's
Well, she didn't
smart.
like that, but here's the
But that's
thing.
smart.
He
If you
stopped
work-
talking to her.
There's nothing
not
wrong
the
with
other
what
way
he
around.
did, though. That's smart.
He criticized.
No.
Here's the thing. If
He
Sweeten up-
killed the Spoken Hub program.
There's nothing wrong with being kind and sweetening it out.
Or just be civil and don't criticize the guy. Don't say you
He
suck and
stopped
everything's your
talking
fault.
to her. He used
But
to
he
call her every
shouldn't hold
day
that
in the
against her
morning.
either. Like,
He
he should do what's
shouldn't.
good for the city. Anyway.
But anyway, so we went up and we talked to his the Department of Social Service, Department of Health and Social Services, whatever.
DHS, yeah,
yeah,
Department of Health.
Shibboleth, and she wanted to work with us. We made a good thing. This
She wanted to work with you Republicans, which is a factional.
Pat Long is not a Republican.
Pat Long was with
Pat
you?
Long was there. Yeah.
Oh.
Did you have an appointment, or you just bored?
He invited all of us. Now Joyce
He
got
invited
upset.
you.
Well, no,
Sununu did.
Shibboleth, whatever.
didn't
her
like
name
that,
is.
huh?
I think this is called political skullduggery. Now, do we put it under P or S?
Agree? I
P or S?
I hate you sometimes.
Skullduggery.
Oh.
This sounds like political skullduggery.
He says a word every week that I have to Google. I'm like, what? Are you
You never heard of skullduggery? Burt Reynolds was in that. It was at the drive-in back in 1970.
Did you get
Look it up,
results with your
skullduggery.
meeting?
Well, yeah. One of the things that came out about it is
Is this
I
why
asked.
Mary
I
Heath's
said, look,
running
I want to
against
get
you?
rid of this Safe Stations program. And we looked at Nashua. Nashua did that. Went over
And
the
Pat
doorways
Long
program.
was for that.
No, he was at the meeting. And I said,
Trying to
can
break the
we,
ice, that's
can
all.
we make some progress on that now? So now we're working with the state of New Hampshire to bring the Doorways program to Manchester.
Which Joyce, you said,
She
Well-
is actually working with the governor on that.
well, I know.
So now that's
I
one
know
thing
as
that
the
good came
governor-
out of the meetings, that they're actually working in collaboration.
This is what the governor. This is what you know. He thinks he could flip. At one point, he thought he could flip Manchester Republican. That was That was all the scuttlebutt.
Why are you
there.
sure? Manchester's
Yeah.
a solidly Democratic city.
Oh, come on! How long would we have Republican mayors?
But that's look at
How many
Massachusetts
Republicans? How many Republicans were on the board of aldermen before all you Republicans have no stamina and start resigning?
I don't know how many were there.
There was at least there was you, Keith. There was 5 at one point.
Oh, that's
Who
in the
remembers
most
that?
recent thing. That's more of pushback.
5.
Here's the thing.
5.
Manchester,
So you can't deny there was 5
can
out of
deny.
14. You better
it's
not.
plausible denial. Here's the thing. Manchester, by voter registration, is predominantly Democrat.
What's
or
predominantly
independent.
unaffiliated.
But the Democrats outnumber the Republicans.
They're Democrats.
But here's the thing.
like the guy that's running against Tommy
Well,
and
Would you
Sapienza.
let him answer one
Shut
question
up.
today?
Thank you.
Shut up.
But here's the thing:
Or
there's a
I'll-
lot
I'm
of
gonna
there's
put
a
you in
lot
wrong.
of blue collar Democrats in Manchester. These are the people who pay the bills, so they're not liberal progressives.
You'd kiss
and
anybody's
they know
ass.
they have that their real estate taxes are what's paying the bills, and so they
Of
also
what? What are we talking about
city
now?
government.
Part of the shtick is where we.
It's not a stick. I'm really annoyed. It's not an act.
Because you're so you're
He's
such a sycophant.
talking
I
about
thought it was sycophant.
Sycophant.
Sycophant. All right.
How-
that's something
Psycho.
else.
how a
sycophant.
group of them went to the state.
He wants to be
break
up there
the
with Senator.
tension
Why didn't you
between
take him?
Joyce and the governor, and Joyce had an issue with it. But
Why didn't you? Did you ask the governor about all the veterans that died at the old soldiers'
Yeah,
home?
did you do that?
Because he won't give Lou D'Alessandro the information.
No, the governor wasn't at the meeting. The secretary of DHS was there, which is who we were.
I don't
meeting
like
with.
Sununu. I think he's a rat.
Really?
Of course
Very
I
popular-
do.
Oh, because he's Arab.
I think is he?
He is Arab.
He
That's
says
probably the only-
he's about 1/16 Arab.
more than Elizabeth Warren is.
Well, no, now you're getting into a sensitive territory.
And
we
I'm
can,
not
We can
Hispanic.
cut this and make it. You've already been accused of racism during the
Oh,
BLM
that was
blowout.
ridiculous.
I had to
Oh.
defend you.
Oh, that was the bulldozer thing.
That wasn't me. No,
It wasn't
no,
him.
no. This is
He
what
didn't,
happened.
You didn't say anything.
I didn't even. So
You just
here's
said that
a
Mike
little bit
Porter's
of
not a
background. So
prick.
my wife's from Brazil. She's Latina. She's part black. She's a person of color. My children are biracial. So somebody on social media asked me, did I think that Joe Kelly Lavasser and Mike
Was a
Porter were
racist.
racist? And I said, no, I know them personally. I don't believe that they're racist. Somebody took those comments, and that's all I said, is I don't think they're racist, and then said that I'm racist because I didn't think they were racist, and I was a
But
white
then you explained
And
about
then
your
that got
wife.
traction.
that got into social media, and then I started being
happenings
criticized.
in Manchester.
But you,
Don't
you
go on
explained
that.
about your wife and kids, and
Yeah,
they
I
said
said
that's
that, my wife's a
racist.
person of color, so I'm very sensitive to people who are truly racist.
Yeah,
And they said, you're using your family to promote racism. I was like, what are you talking
No,
about?
you're not
It
a
was just
racist.
crazy.
You're not a racist.
It was just crazy.
Well, here's a guy that's
I don't think Joe
that's
Kelly's a
Hispanic
racist
that claims
either.
he's Polish.
I don't think Joe Kelly's a racist because he said zipperhead. I think he meant knucklehead. I really do.
No, he didn't.
I think-
Zipperhead
I think it
means-
just came to him. I don't think he thought of the origin of the word.
Well,
I really don't.
This
I don't
guy
think
is
he
in
is.
love with Joe Kelly Lavasser.
I don't like him.
He is a fame whore. He
Here's
wants
the
to be
thing.
famous.
I didn't even know.
I am famous.
Zipperhead is
So I'm
from
using it
gang slang
in-
of the
in-
80s.
I
Because
didn't
you
know
get
what it
zipped
meant.
up into a
I-
body
No,
bag.
I don't know.
different.
Anyways, here's the
It's not
thing.
that.
Zipperhead comes out of
Here's
the
what it
Vietnam
doesn't
War,
make
you
sense.
dummy.
So somebody from BLM contacted Joe. He's African
Let's
American.
not talk about
Okay,
that,
whatever. We
you
won't
know?
talk about it then.
I was at the BLM rally in front of City Hall, and all the people that were moaning and pissing on social media, except for me and Elizabeth Ropp, nobody shows up. You know?
Look, when you're a
Two
racist,
people showed up.
No, there was a BLM rally against Joe,
Oh.
calling for his resignation. I was there, and I let rip. But all the people that, everything's
let me
awful.
end
They
on
never
that.
show up.
when
They
you're
never show
racist,
up.
it comes to light. You can't hide it. So if he was racist, we all know it. You'd know it. You talk to him all the time.
Oh, Jesus,
He-
will you
if-
stop kissing
No, I'm
his
saying
ass?
if he was a racist, we'd know it. If he was a racist, if you were, it comes to light. You
Yes.
can't hide it because you can't help it.
Which is what I try to explain. So if people are racist, when they're in private with other people,
can't help it.
They're going to
You
say
mean-
it. They're going to say things.
Well, Ted
You're
Gatz
gonna
has
know.
used all sorts of
But we're not talking
epithets.
about him.
Yeah, but everybody figured it was just he hates everybody.
So is
and
David Duke. Like,
Shut
we're not even
up.
talking about Ted Gassas, though.
You don't even know what David Duke is.
Yeah, he's the Duke,
The Duke.
the Duke Devil guy, the
Duke.
mascot for Duke University.
Where is Duke University?
I don't know.
Who is Doris?
South
Duke?
Carolina.
What fiendish product is at the root of it?
Cameron,
Cigarettes.
North Carolina. So
Oh, it's
eat it.
North Carolina, not South Carolina.
So
Yeah, Duke University. That was
Bite
one of the big
me,
cigarette.
Mr.
They have like a
Hopwood.
blue devil as their mascot.
Yeah,
Blue Devil.
Yeah, isn't it a blue devil?
they had a great lacrosse team too.
Well, you're up against Mary Heath.
Yeah.
she's kind of a heavy hitter in the
Yeah, she
Democratic
is. So
Party.
she's beat me twice in the past.
She has for state
Oh, yeah.
rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's? Are there polls? Is there speculation?
No,
out there? There's
it's
nothing like that.
no.
You just know when you
but,
know.
But here's my confidence: is I'm an alderman right now. I'm helping a lot of people, working hard. Mary, the best she did beat me twice. One by 33 votes, one by 40. We've run
Wow,
twice
it
again.
counts
So
close.
it's going to be. I think it's going to be a close election.
You get a
Oh, well,
solicit
yeah.
on those doors that say no soliciting. Then
Yeah, but it's not insurmountable. 40 votes is the best she's beaten me.
Is she campaigning?
I haven't seen her, but I'm sure she'll do mail. Oh, I have seen, again, like June and like Chris Potter, I have seen young Democrats or whatever go door to door with her literature. So I've seen her literature at doors from other people, but I don't think she's personally
Well, they
campaigning.
say if a person gives 8 seconds to a piece of literature, that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people just
they
chuck
just
it.
look at it, and then
She got a lot of signs out.
You should put glitter on it.
Yeah. True.
you should have him design a sign for you.
Glitter
I
bomb.
mean, you know Joe
Yeah.
Lavasser.
Have you seen those YouTube videos where people steal like iPhones and packages and they put glitter bombs in
Yeah.
them? I don't know if that would get me more votes or less
You'll
votes.
you'll get thrown off the board.
Oh, okay.
You don't
Is
want
Seven still
you don't
a
wanna leave
working
bombs
class
on
place?
people's porches. Number one, number two. Yeah, glitter's hard to get out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well,
You know,
okay.
Seven's a working class neighborhood.
It used to
definitely.
be.
Still
I don't
is.
know. You know,
A lot
things
of blue collar-
change.
A lot of people are moving in. A lot of change, though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm walking around. I'm seeing houses for sale. People are cashing in.
One
on
of the
this real
hottest
estate
markets
market.
is right
Yeah.
here.
And
Hey,
it's
about
affordable.
okay, about the issue you should know about being on the school board for many years. What do you think about the charter amendments that were proposed by Pat Long?
I think it's a bad idea. I don't
In a
think.
toto, or just because it gives the board the ability to override the tax cap?
I don't think the current makeup of the school board would be fiscally responsible, and I think they'd override the tax cap.
But are you against an independent school board, but reserving the veto? I mean, the tax cap, overriding tax cap to the Board of Aldermen. Would you be favor of that?
That, yes, but that's not happening. What the question, as I understand it, is
Right.
completely independent. They can override the tax cap on their own.
That's how, yeah. The actual 4 amendments that were crafted by the Charter Commission did not include their ability to override the tax cap. But all aldermen, including yourself, have the right to put forward amendments. And Pat, that was his opinion.
But it's a moot point because the
Has to go
Attorney
through.
General has said that you didn't follow the process.
Oh, it's already come up? He already ruled
a
again?
few days ago, he announced
Oh,
that
that's
it
the
will not be on the ballot. I actually want it on the ballot because I think it would help turnout.
Well, I think it's been, I don't want to criticize anybody, but it was poorly put out. Here's one of the issues. Who's going to determine the exemptions? You know, like veterans and certain senior citizens under certain conditions. You know, you get the exemptions from the property tax, and the Board of Aldermen vote on those. You know, how big they're going to
see
be.
what you're saying.
Is the school board going to be able to set
That's a good
exemptions
question.
or take them away?
I would think it would be
Stuff
the
like that.
same. It would be just like,
But that's
we
the-
override the tax cap, but you still have the elderly and the veterans.
but see, the Board of
It's not an
Aldermen
exemption,
said
though.
that.
It's a discount.
Discount,
You still
yeah.
pay something.
You do pay something, but my mother was poor.
500
and
a month
she had the
here or
World War II exemption went to like widows and wives and that. So she had that too. But those things were determined by the Board of Aldermen because I remember they voted on veterans at one point when they were when they had revenue problem and they cut it down a bit. Then when they had revenue, it went back up. But so does is a board of the school committee? They might the way it is now. They'll probably tax all the white people, right? If Rich
That's a good question. I'm assuming that the elderly and the veterans would still get the same exemption.
Yeah, but
is
who
my
would
guess.
set that? The
Yeah.
school board's going to have it.
Yeah, that's a good question.
See, these are things that should have been talked about and everything. And, and it didn't happen.
When we had the discussion about this at the meeting, there were a lot of unanswered questions, and they're like, we shouldn't do this until it's settled.
I could never understand why the board hadn't been talking about it, had a committee, and was talking about this for months,
I got a question for you. What is this? It almost
Why
reminds
don't
me
you
of
show
Mickey
it to
Mouse here.
show it
It's
to
a
the
heart.
crowd.
Oh, okay.
He's in love with you.
No,
Well, that's a man and a woman,
That's
but-
my wife, and I'm married.
Excellent.
But
And that's-
Sean, you're not married, so maybe one day you'll fall in love.
He's already fallen in love many
Yeah.
times.
Fall in love all the time.
He wears his
Just
heart
with
on
my
his sleeve.
income level,
Russ.
what woman's gonna marry me?
Do
And
you-
so that's Ross Terrio with his wife. See it? The handsome,
sub it?
you look some like
Can I
Josh
have that?
Brolin in that.
Ross, do you like being an alderman? Do you like
I
it?
enjoy it. It's there's good and bad.
Is it weird that everyone has a camera now and you get to literally watch everything you say in
Oh
public?
yes, I cause sometimes I don't have a filter.
Joe
Some-
lets it rip,
Sometimes
huh?
I use bad language, so
And
I gotta be
is it
careful.
is it something that you maybe are unfair to your family? Like you gotta watch yourself too. Like that's like is that a concern of theirs? Like I would be
Actually, I would like for my wife to do something bad because she's a Democrat, so I can say, "Oh, those damn Democrats!" It would be awesome.
You're from what is it? The Bi family then?
The Bai family?
Bipartisan.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Bi-coastal. Bi whatever. But he made you look
not
like
by
Josh
whatever,
Brolin.
bipartisan.
But a young
I've been lucky. I actually count my blessings. My kids have all turned out well. They don't have drug or alcohol problems. They did
Don't you
good
have
in school.
a daughter like at Harvard?
Harvard Medical. She works
Yeah.
at Harvard Medical School.
Oh, okay.
Good for
She
you.
does medical research.
So you did good.
You're a
Yeah, it
big,
worked out
you know,
good.
whatever you were late comer to, well, not anymore. It used to be if you hadn't been here all your life.
Yeah,
you're-
don't watch the first 3 minutes.
But you've been here for 24 years.
this show,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Do not watch that.
Shut up. I'm going to need a gag on this guy.
Actually, it was funny. So I told my wife.
But you are a Manchesterite, and you really love this city.
Yes.
That's the
I've
point.
been
So
here
you only
for-
got like
yeah.
a couple minutes.
I've been here
so-
for 24 years. So I was going to go on the show, and my wife got all excited. I said, "Do you want? I'm going to be on public TV." She goes, she thought it was Norm's show. And she
You're
loves
not going on
Norm.
Norm?
And she goes, "Oh, you mean the old guy with the?" And I was like, "No, this is the crazy guy, Hopwood." She's
The
like,
other old crazy guy.
Well, you can.
And-
say
She
was
it.
disappointed.
I never say anything bad.
Me.
I said, "She's like Norm show." I was like, "No, the Hopwood show." She's like, "Wah, wah, wah." She was really disappointed.
The mayor's husband watches my show.
What's the name of your show?
Well, it's
Oh,
He
this
doesn't
one.
have a show.
I'm clickbait. I'm
He's
just
too
his-
lazy.
I get it. I put
Well,
butts
the
in
one-
the seats.
the-
He's a sane person. You got to, you
Var-
gotta have it like point counterpoint. You know what I mean?
I'm just
I'm the ass
obnoxious.
kisser, apparently, I guess.
He just wants to be famous, but he
But-
helps him sell his
But
paintings.
no, so Carol Roberdeau asked one question to Bill Berry once, and he had a hard time kind of answering. Do you think being on the board of aldermen should mean that you can't comment personally on Facebook? Do you think there should be some kind
That's a
of
good question.
some kind of rule against
No, no.
that?
I should be able to comment personally, but here's the thing: you got to be careful. Like Joe Kelly Lavazza got in trouble, and Mike Porter got in trouble.
Yeah.
You have to filter yourself because not only are you a private person, but you're also a public representative. And so, if you do something wrong, like a crime, or you say something wrong, that's a poor reflection on your office. So it comes with some rules that you have to follow, and you have to filter yourself.
And also, last question: Do you think?
And that's why my problem with President Trump.
got
He
two
Yeah.
minutes.
he used
Why
to
did
say
he
all
get
these
elected?
bad things. He should have. People
coulda
want to have
won.
more dignity in the office, and if you say all these crazy things, it reflects poorly on the office, and that's why people kicked him out of office. But go ahead.
Well, I guess
You got 2 minutes.
it's irrelevant. Yeah, 2 minutes. I guess.
you have anything to say to that?
So
finish.
Ross Terrio, running all the current alderman for Ward 7. I'd appreciate everybody's vote. My cell phone is 603-820-9064. If you have any questions for me, feel free to call me or text me, and I'll try to answer your questions. Try to be an open book. And constituent services, I always try to help people, but I can never guarantee an answer because sometimes I can't get the result that people want, but at least I'll try. And I think I've deserved re-election.
Okay, thank you very much, Ross.
Thank
and
you.
Good luck.
Thank
to
you very much. And I'll buy you guys a beer. You guys want to go get a beer downstairs?
Absolutely.
Sure, why not?
Well,
We're being bribed.
Yeah,
Well
you're being
done.
bribed.
Well done.
Okay.
That's
Take care.
How dare you?